The fourth annual of the Star Wars comic series, the comic starts with a mix-up kinda. You see, there were these two ancient Sith lightsabers that belonged to Darth Atreus. They were uncovered on the planet Hradrik. I hope I'm saying that right. One went to the Imperials, and the other one Sana Soros sold to some gangster, basically who went mad with rage, asking where is the second lightsaber. The worst of it all was that Vader was now coming. Once he landed, the officer welcomed him. He was standing there with the package in his hand and a contingent of stormtroopers behind him. Vader took the briefcase and opened it. Once he looked at the lightsaber, Vader asked where was the second one. The officer was confused by his question, but immediately Vader choked him. As he gagged in agony, he claimed that he bought the lightsaber from a smuggler and that she must have tricked him. How embarrassing. Vader was appalled that a simple smuggler was able to fool him. He then ordered a stormtrooper to divert all divisions to finding the smuggler and the other lightsaber. Needless to say, Vader killed the officer as the stormtroopers scattered to begin the search. This led the stormtroopers right to Sana Soros, who found her way to a Aqualish gang and actually paid them to stall the Imperials. Now it was a fair fight. The gang stood up to the stormtroopers who were threatening to shoot, but suddenly someone was coming. Vader ignited two lightsabers, his own and the ancient crossguard lightsaber. He unleashed his fury on the gang. The Sith completely demolished them without skipping a beat. The massacre was so brutal that even the stormtroopers were frightened at the sight of these victims. But that's how Vader operated. No mercy. Especially during these times where the Empire needed to show their might and power. For Vader, the search continued, and it would ultimately lead him to one person who he wasn't expecting at all. It all started with these two lightsabers. One ultimately went to Luke and the other one went to Vader. These lightsabers were embroiled with some sort of Sith magic or alchemy. They made the user go insane with rage and anger, basically. That's what happened to Luke, who annihilated stormtroopers without mercy, and Vader got so overconfident to the point where he was almost blown up to shreds. Fortunately for him, he survived the whole ordeal because, well, he was Darth Vader, and as he stood up and removed all the rubble around him, at that moment, Luke was running away from stormtroopers and he had no choice but to steal a pod racer from one of the members that was participating in the race. He actually threatened him with his new red lightsaber, and like father like son, he started slowly gaining the upper hand in the race. One of only two humans to be able to participate in the pod race, ever since one Anakin Skywalker, who was now long forgotten. Vader entered the arena. He was impressed at first, but the jealousy slowly started creeping in. Remember, Vader at this point had no idea who Luke was, or even that he was on this planet right now and driving the pod race. It was simple. He was just jealous that another human was able to do the pod race. The first one to do so other than him a long time ago. Vader started clenching his fist and using the Force, he destroyed one of the pod's engines. Luke was trying hard to control it, but it was to no avail. His pod was down completely as Vader finished him off and left the scene. Smug and arrogant, no one was going to impede on his old legacy. Even though he was done with Anakin Skywalker by now, it shows here that he is still proud about some of his accomplishments. As Luke frustratingly gets out of the destroyed pod, he grabs the Sith lightsaber with the Force and destroys it with his own blue lightsaber. He was done with it. His X-Wing was brought to him and Luke finally got off this horrible planet. Watching the X-Wing leave was none other than Vader himself looking from afar. He was holding the ancient Sith lightsaber for the very last time. Through sheer strength, he completely demolished this newly found Sith lightsaber. Reason being that if he wasn't going to get the second one, then basically this one was useless and of no value. An official reason is not given really, but the real reason for both of these lightsabers was to gift them to his master Darth Sidious. Savage moment Darth Vader might have had, since this time you could say that he doubled his powers. Vader wasn't keen on using multiple lightsabers. He saw it basically as a gimmick of sorts, and was on the mindset that a true Sith needs no more than just one lightsaber. I mean, he wielded only one lightsaber and was considered the greatest weapon of his time. So by that idea, why should he be using more lightsabers? But this doesn't mean that if the opportunity came, he wouldn't have a little bit of fun with two lightsabers, and that's what happens in this marvelous issue. The 4th annual of the Star Wars comic series. That was it for today and for this comic, guys. Hope all of you enjoyed, and if you did, please leave a thumbs up down below and hit that bell to get notified the moment a new video is up. Have an awesome day, my Star Wars friends, and may the Force be with you always.